Hi everyone! Welcome to Unveiling the Past, where we dive into how history is pieced together through different types of sources. I'm Michael.
And I'm Gian. Today we have 6 guests: Ruel, Chris, Aldrian, Nori, and Jiri, who will help us break down 2 essential types of history: the primary and the secondary sources. Now we'll cover their difference, their advantages, and challenges, all in under 5 minutes.
So let's jump right in. To start, what are the different types of historical sources? Ruel?
Thank you. So, to start, historians generally categorize them into primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. So first, primary sources are first-hand accounts, while secondary sources interpret those accounts. And lastly, tertiary sources summarizes everything.
Right, so for today, we'll only cover primary and secondary sources. Now, Chris, can you tell us what is a primary source?
Yes, a primary source is a direct evidence from the past. Things like letters, diaries, official documents, photograph, and artifact. They offer the first-hand look at historical events. Example, including artifact, interviews, surveys, and expert research studies.
That's a great example. But what about secondary sources, Adrian?
So, secondary sources analyze or interpret primary sources. They're usually written by historians who look at the evidence and offer explanations. These examples include biographies, educational textbooks, documents.
So, now that we've talked about them, how do these two differ? Nori, can you explain?
Sure. So, primary sources are original records from the time, while secondary sources are interpretations made after the fact. So, primary sources shows us what happened in real time, and secondary sources helps us to understand the bigger picture.
Now let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of using these sources. Jiri, what are the pros and cons about primary sources?
Okay, the primary sources are great. They give us direct connection to the past, but they can be biased or incomplete. So you have to interpret them carefully. Plus, they are hard to find and access.
Now, how about secondary sources? What are their pros and cons?
And for secondary sources are easier to access, provide helpful context and analysis, but the downside is that they might reflect the bias or interpretation of the author, or not the raw data.
So the key takeaway is that primary sources give us raw, direct evidence, while secondary sources help us make sense of it all.
Exactly. Now, understanding how to balance these sources is very crucial for studying history.
Thanks to all our guests for sharing their insights today. That's it for the episode of Unveiling the Past. Make sure to subscribe and join us next time as we continue exploring the stories behind history.
Yes, make sure to subscribe, share this to your friends, and until then, keep questioning and explore the past. Thank you and bye!